Mali Kaliki Maka, Mr. President, presidents throughout the world, monarchs, prime ministers too, as well as world citizens. You're going to love this. Welcome to the Acts of Providence. Check this out. Mr. President, you need some revenue generators, and I'm about to give you some generators. Act 1 of the Acts of Providence is what's in it for me. This means me as well as yourselves. Act 2 is the Ministry of Marijuana Act, also known as the MAMA. Now, this is a local legalization, not legalization, but a regulation act. I want you to think of it as how the numbers turned into the lottery, how alcohol, bootleggers, turned into the government and liquor stores. They say you can't figure out a way to tax it. I have figured out that way, locally and internationally. Act 3, the Patriots of Pleasures Act, or the PAPA. We're going after popcorn pimps, we're going after pedophiles, we're going after those little runaway squirts on the street. They ain't got nowhere to hide no more. In the same sense, though, adults should have a right to do what adults want to do, when they want to do it, and pretty much where, so long as it doesn't harm anybody else. So this is the big nut of them all, is the PAPA, the massive revenue generator. There's money in it for everybody. We'll get back to it. Act 4, tough on teenage screwballs or tots. I had a principal tell me that he spent 45 minutes in a hall with a kid that was a problem kid, while the entire rest of the class got a whole 7 minutes of his time. And that was a common problem when he was a teacher, and it's still a common problem today. Kids, make no doubt about it, you're gone. In the meantime, teachers, you're going to love it. But because we teach through encouragement, not discouragement, what we're going to do here is we actually have some incentive programs out there. High school graduates, imagine, whether you got a D or an A, but you showed the effort. You graduated high school. So you score yourself a Congratulate Yourself award check for about $3,000. That's just based on the numbers here. But still, a See Ya check, and that's what it stands for, See Ya. A See Ya check for $3,000 for making the effort and actually making it through school. So there's plenty of incentive to stay in school, but stay cool while you're in school, because the teacher has the power to send you out of there. The teacher under tots will have the power to send you to the farm. From there, the judicial and the people at the farm can send you to a military base. And from there, if you're still a non-hacker, they're going to send your butts to Africa. Kids, you paying attention there? And I'm also going to give you 3 beautiful examples of kids who came up against adversity, major adversity, to become super citizens. Anyway, Act 5, the Gifts of God's Act. God has many gifts that God has given us, but we don't take advantage of them. We're busy cramming, for example, Adderall down our kids' throats while running TV ads how meth kills, meth rots your teeth, meth makes you ugly, meth makes you insane, meth makes you sexually dysfunctional. Yet we sit there and charge it to Medicare to give kids Adderall, which is made out of 4 meth salts. We're going to call in the shaman throughout the world. It goes to respecting religious restoration and religious rights. We're going to call them in and take care of business. Next is Act 6 here. The Patriotic Adult Labor Services. Pals, 2 million jobs minimum. Now catch that, jobs. Plus another 500,000 careers minimum. And I'm telling you right now, I'm lowballing you. I'm lowballing you big time. And that's just for America. That's not for the world. We're just talking American numbers right at this moment. But it's going to tie into the world. That's why it's very important for you global leaders and you global citizens to pay attention. Because all this is adaptable for your nation as well. Act 7, the Registry of Active Researchers, or the ROAR as we call it. Researchers, we've got mega problems out there with health. This year it's H1N1. A few years ago you were slaughtering birds over the avian flu. The big one on the table, besides cancer, would be AIDS, HIV. So 10% of this budget is going to AIDS, HIV research. You're going to get your money, and you're going to get your latitude. But it's also going to fall under Act 8, protective penalties. Protective penalties are there for people who screw up on the marijuana. We expect it. We know there's some fools out there who think they're going to get rich by selling to kiddies, and they're gone under protective penalties. Patriots of Pleasures, pimps, pedophile, boom, they're gone. No questions asked. In the same sense, active researchers, if you go off and you commit an illegal abortion, you commit an abortion outside the law, you signed your own death warrant. And have no doubt, this also goes for those who consider themselves apolitical, as the German nurses used to claim. You people, you work in these offices. You know what's going on for the most part. You sit there and be part of it, you're gone too. Going global, yes indeed. Through the basic electronic transfer service, which is basically like they say that the food stamps for Americans are now in a form of a card that was created by the Secret Service under the guidance of former VP Dick Cheney. All I did was change the letters around a little bit and basically use the same principle. It is tantamount to a one global currency, all controlled by the United States, but on the other hand, we're getting the world tied in. Let's face it, we're either going to be at war with each other and destroy ourselves, or we're going to get on the same page and then do something about it. And that page is interesting because it brings us to Act 10, our future world. Yes, indeed. In our future world, there's 3 mega projects for America which generate a lot of those jobs. And keeping in mind that the Acts of Providence is actually intended to be a 100-year term, it keeps those jobs for a long time. Not like this stimulus package where you got money going to some guy to hire 60 people, and by his own admission, he hired 5 guys to do his roof and 1 supervisor. The roof was done, the jobs were done, he kept the money for the other 54 employees for the year, etc. You know, those jobs are phony. I've looked at the numbers. You got people working for an entire job for $1.27, according to one senator or congressman. Here in our own state, you're giving over $6 million, claiming that you created 77 jobs to districts that don't even exist, or a district that doesn't even exist. And that's just one example. We got another example where you're hiring supposedly 1,487.1 people, and you're paying them $737.49 an hour for a full year employment, if that's what they got based on the budget. We know these numbers are disingenuous. What I'm talking about is 2.5 million people actually going to work, not just going to work on paper so that somebody can steal some money. And where is the accountability on that? We're going to get into that. So our future world, we have 2 mega projects here in the United States. One is the new American-Canadian Canal, and the other one is the new American-Mexican Canal. We're going to chop those borders off. We're going to bring water into the deserts, and not only water up those deserts and green them up, which will help reverse desertification, it might work to actually, do something about global warming in the meantime. It'll create jobs. It'll deliver water to the thirsty kids that live in those deserts. Good, clean, healthy drinking water, as well as deliver jobs. The third one is the new African Canal. And that's where all of the world unites in their own form of TAP here. They use their own program, but when it comes to uniting, we go down to Africa together, and we cut that thing wide open. Then there's adding it all up. $58,971,010,562,852 just for America over a 100-year term. For the world, over a quarter to a half, a quadrillion for the world. Mind you, I didn't come up with this number like the stimulus people or the healthcare people. Oh, it's 1.2 trillion. Fine, show me the numbers. Then there's some short stories. In short stories, the big one is the Magi. It goes to 2012. There's going to be some problems, and we're going to get to it. But with that, let's take care of our business. Rock on, and thanks.